So many of you ask me how I plan out my week, and this is always something I want to know from other people too. So I am making this video to share with you exactly how I do it. So I am probably one of the most disorganised people I know. Seriously, I'm really unorganised. And so when it comes to planning out my week, I am really disciplined with actually getting clear on what it is that I need to achieve, what I need to make happen so that I stay on track. Otherwise, well, we all know what it's like. The weeks just go by and we never actually do the things that we really need to do. So for me, one of the biggest things that helps me is actually sitting down and writing everything out onto paper on a Sunday evening. And a few years ago, I was like, damn it, I just need an amazing planner for me to use throughout the year so that I can actually plan out my year, I can plan out my quarters, I can plan out my months, I can plan out every week and every day. And there were some really amazing planners out there, but not one that I felt addressed all the areas that I wanted it to. So I dreamt really big with it, and we ended up creating one. We created our perfectly planned planner, and since then we have been refining it, and this has just been such an incredible tool for me to be able to have something physical that I can just open up whenever I need it, to then sit down and plan out what I need to do, what I need to make happen. So this is basically how I use it and how I plan out my week. Before I plan out my week, I think about what I want to actually make happen over that quarter, so that I make sure that what I'm doing in that week aligns with where I'm trying to get to at the end of that 90-day period. And I think this is so important because it's like, if we're just thinking of the day-to-day or the week-to-week and not thinking beyond that, it's easy to be really busy doing things that perhaps aren't getting us to where we truly want to go. We can end up becoming busy fools. So I think it's really important, firstly, to think about what is it that you want to achieve over the next 90 days? Like, what are the top, say, 3 to 5 things that you really want to make happen, or it could just be even one thing. And then once you've got that, you can then break it down and work backwards from it so that you can make it happen. So I kind of start thinking about, okay, well, this is where we're aiming to get in the next 90 days. And then on a Sunday evening, I take some time and I just begin thinking about the week ahead. This is before I even get my planner out. I just start thinking. I start thinking about the week, what I've got going on. I'll have a quick look at my Google Calendar, see what calls I've got going on, and just think about how I want the week to go. And other than that, I'll open up a page for the week and then I'll sit down to write and nothing will come out, and I'm like, oh, well, what am I going to do? Because I quite like flexibility in my weeks. I'm not a super structured person. I'm not like, right, on this day I'm going to do this, on this hour I've got this. Like, it's not the same for me every week. I'm quite flexible. Things change quite a lot. I've got different things going on. So just having something super rigid just doesn't work for me. So I begin thinking about it. Once it starts flowing, that is the point at which I open up the planner and start to think about, okay, what is going to happen this week? So before I start to get more specific, in my weekly overview, I just start writing a note of things I want to get done that week. So what are some key things that I want to make happen? And I just begin writing them down like this, to do this. And it's kind of just a bit of a brainstorm, getting it out of my head onto paper. It's not perfect, it's not organized, it's just getting it out of my head. Once I've got it out of my head, I can then start to look at it and think, okay, what am I going to do and on what day? So for me, for example, Wednesdays and Fridays, I take off to have with my son Casey. So I know I've got Monday, Tuesday and Thursday to get stuff done. So then I look at the list of things that I really want to make happen, and I think about what days would they be best for me to accomplish them on. And then after I work on that, I then start plotting it in. Okay, Monday, this is my core focus. Tuesday, this is my core focus. Thursday, this is my core focus. So then once I've got that and I've got an overview of the week and what I want to make happen, I then start to think about each day in a little bit more depth. Now, I don't really plan out to the tiniest little detail for each day ahead of the week. Ahead of the week on a Sunday, I just have an overview of what my week's gonna look like, what I'm gonna get done, and on what days. And then before each day begins, well, the evening before, I sit down and think, okay, what have I got on my plate for tomorrow? So I open up my plan for the next day, I get clear on my priorities, and I identify between 1 and 3 core priorities for that day and make sure I've written them down. And then I kind of create a little bit of a to-do list for myself, and then I schedule in, okay, well, I've got a call at this time, I've got a call at this time, I've got a meeting here, I've got an appointment here. And so I kind of like have a schedule for the day. And then once I've got in the calls, I work around that and be like, okay, this chunk of time is for a launch. This chunk of time is for creating that freebie. And so I get clear on what I need to focus on and when. And basically that's what I do every day. So every evening I think about the next day and I make sure that it's planned out so I know what I've got on and what my core focus is. And I think the key thing is knowing what is your core focus. Because yes, we all have like a lot going on a day, like we've got millions of little things to do, and it's fine to get those done, but I think you have to be clear on, okay, but what is my core priority? What is going to move the needle for me today? And I think knowing that every day is so important to actually helping you to make really significant progress, because like I said before, you become a busy fool if you don't know what that core thing is that you need to get done. So for me, for example, at this moment in time, my absolute focus, I am totally immersed in marketing and the growth side of FEA. And so every day it's like, what am I going to do today that is going to move the needle for marketing? What am I going to do that's going to create more engagement? And that is what my focus is for the quarter, for the week, and for the day. And I have to stay laser focused on making sure I take action on that every day if I want to see the results that I'm aiming for. And it's the same for all of us. So I don't think planning needs to be ridiculously confusing or overwhelming. I don't think you need to try and cram all your priorities in. I think when you do that, it's just a recipe for disaster. But for me, I think keep it simple, but make sure that every week, every day, you know what you're waking up and getting what you need to get done. Otherwise, you'll just get distracted doing things that you really ought not to be doing. So anyway, that has really helped me. Some of the other tools that I use that help me are my Google Calendar. It's so handy to have that. It's handy to have the app on my phone so it notifies me when I've got stuff happening. I can check into it on my desktop and see what's going on there, and that's really helpful. But for me, Google Calendar and my planner are my two biggest tools when it comes to really getting organised on a week-to-week, day-to-day basis and making sure that I am on track to hit my goals. So hopefully you have found this helpful. It's simple, but I think simple is the way forward. I would love to hear how you plan out your days and what you do. If you are interested in finding out more about our perfectly planned 2020 planner, then all you need to do is head over to the website carrie.co. The link for you is in the description.